Hi, I'm Lee. Welcome to the channel. I hope you're having a lovely day. I'm a short, overweight, middle-aged white dude. I've got thinning brown hair, black gloss, and wear a blue t-shirt with my logo on it. Pretty cool, right? And I'm sitting in my Tesla Model Y because in this video we're going to go on a road trip. Now, tomorrow, the wife and I are driving up to Sydney for the Everything Electric, All Things Electric. It used to be called Fully Charged. I don't know why they changed the name. Show in Sydney. And I've done this road trip between Sydney and Melbourne in different electric cars a number of times, but I thought we'd do something a little bit different for this one. So in the first one and the main ones that I've done, I'll put a link up in the corner to those ones. Generally, I just go into the navigation on the car, say, right, I want to go to Sydney, and say navigate to Sydney, and just follow the instructions of what the car says. And this is showing me the typical drive that I normally always do between Sydney and Melbourne, which is first stop is Euroa, and you get there with about 51% if you're starting with 100. Then next stop is Albury, which is Wodonga. Get there with 15%. Then you're Gundagai, then Golburn, then you're in Sydney. Happy days. And that's the way I've sort of always done it. The thing is, and if you want to see how that all works, again, follow the links to my other road trip videos, but I thought we'd do something a little bit different with this one. So the other night I went into a Better Route Planner. Now, if you're not familiar with it, a Better Route Planner is an app that you can get where you can do a route plan for electric cars. So as you can see here, I've got this set as my position to go from my position. But the nice thing about a Better Route Planner is you can customize it more than the nav here in the car. I'm just going to end that. So you can say what car you're driving, what battery percentage it's at, what battery percentage you want to be when you get to where you're going, how many charging, so fewer but longer stops, shorter but many stops, and you can sort of customize a lot more. So I just go ahead and plan that for me. And the interesting thing that it showed me here was it showed me stops that, like, the first stop in Wangaratta, which is further than Euroa. I didn't even know there were superchargers in Wangaratta. So let's see what a Better Route Planner is suggesting. It's saying that it's going to take us 10 hours and 13 minutes. Our first stop is Wangaratta. We should get there with 11%, charge up to 57. We'll end up charging a little bit more. Then we go to Holbrook. I'm not even sure where Holbrook is. New place, that's exciting. Get there with 10%, charge up to 57. Gundagai, you used to that. Get there with 10, get up to 73. Then Golburn, 10, get up to 72. And we should get to Sydney with 20%. Now, if you're not familiar with road tripping with electric cars, one of the most important things I think to know about road tripping with electric cars is that you don't want to charge up to 100%. Now, I know this may seem counterintuitive, but the way that a battery on electric, in fact, most lithium batteries, most any batteries charge, and the way they work, is that a battery will charge really quickly from like 0 or 20% all the way up to 80. But once it hits 80%, the charge rate slows down dramatically. So when you're doing longer drives, you're going to actually charge a lot quicker if you get to a charger, charge up to 80% or thereabouts, and then head off to the next charge stop instead of waiting to get from 80 to 100. Like, you could get from 0 to 80 in 10, 20 minutes with some cars, but it could take you 30 to 45 minutes to get from 80 to 100%. So that's something to keep in mind when you're doing these sorts of drives. Other than that, not a lot of other information. If you've seen my road trip videos before, we'll stop for snacks. We will cover the snacks, don't you worry, that'll be covered. But yeah, I suppose that's all I need to do for this intro. I want to do this now because our son is going to, we're dropping him off at school, and then he's staying with my wife's parents for the weekend, so we just the wife and I are going, but we want to get going as quickly as possible tomorrow. So I didn't want to faff about and try and explain this tomorrow morning. I want to just get going. So the next time you see me, we will be on the road already. See you in a bit. And we're on our way. Now, we've done something slightly different, which I'll get to in a moment, but I want to cover the basics of an EV road trip in a Tesla in case you haven't seen any of my videos before. So a few things to note. I talked about the whole charging up to 80% thing before. I did want to talk a little bit about that again. So when you're going on a long drive, it's actually not advisable to charge all the way up to 100%. By the way, this is my wife, Mandy. Hi. Because the way that the batteries charge is, I heard someone explain it really well.
Yep.
It's like you're trying to fill a bucket with water, but you can't spill any water outside of the bucket. So as you start pouring in, you pour the water in at a good pace.
Yep.
But then as you get towards the top,
you slow down.
You slow down because you don't want to spill any of the water.
Yes.
So that's how batteries work. So that's why charge up to 80 and move on, because you can get from 0 to 80 really quickly, but 80 to 100 can take
ages,
twice as long, or what have you. Now, the way that we would normally navigate to Sydney is we'd put Sydney, or our destination in Sydney, in the nav here, and it would say off you go, and it would tell us what
superchargers to stop at.
What supercharge to stop at. But we found that the car's quite conservative, which is good.
Yes.
Because I think when you're, early days, you're new to electric cars, you might have range anxiety, all that kind of stuff. So for example, as I showed you earlier in the video, when we put it in, the first stop that the car was suggesting was Euroa, and we were going to get there with 51%.
Yeah, which is really like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, not much.
Which, again, I get it. If you're not confident, you don't want to get in the 10, 20% battery stage.
That took me a while to get comfortable with that.
Absolutely. By the way, depending on what works for you, do what works for you, but I find when thinking about range in an electric car, I think about it from a term of battery percentage. So in the Tesla, you can just tap on the percentage and see how many kilometers you've got left.
I saw it explained quite well the other day that when you have your phone, right, you look at your phone as in your battery percentage in your phone. You've got 50% battery, you've got 80% battery, whatever. You don't ever look at it and go, oh, how many minutes use time or talk time do I have?
Because it depends on what you're doing and how you're doing it. And very much the same with electric cars, in the sense that if it's cold, the battery doesn't last as long. If it's
too hot.
Yeah, like if it's too hot, because then the car's using energy to cool the battery down. So extreme temperatures affected. Also, the way you drive affects. So if you've got a heavy foot, just like in a petrol car, it's going to burn up more gas. It's going to.
You've got a full car of like massive amounts of luggage and
the weight.
Yeah, lots of people.
Interestingly enough, even a headwind, because like the aerodynamics and efficiency is a big thing with electric cars. So for example, in the Tesla, you've got this efficiency app. I don't think that's what it's called. I think it's called the Energy app, and it will actually tell you how good you're doing in terms of you're driving more efficient or less efficient than it was predicted. So what we've done with this drive is, instead of using the nav to go tell us what charging stops to do, we're going to tell it what charging stops we want to go to, because we've used a better route planner. So we've navigated to the Wangaratta supercharger. And interestingly enough, I'm just going to pull this down for a sec. Interestingly enough, when we left Melbourne 60 kilometers ago, 60 kilometers and 59 minutes ago, the car was predicting that we would get to Wangaratta with 27%.
Yes.
Now the car is predicting we're going to get there with 33%. Now, this is a fun game that we always play when we're doing long drives, because the car's really weird and quite erratic when it comes to these predictions, and I'd love to know, thank you, how it gets these predictions. I'm assuming, actually I don't even assume, because I've got no idea, because you sort of go, well, you would assume that it would look at the route you're taking, what the weather's predicts is going to be like, because the car knows the weather forecast, and it looks at what the speed limits are and goes, okay, we'll assume you will drive to the speed limit.
But I don't know, I feel like it bases it slightly on what's the temperature right now, what speed are you going right now, and
where the moon is in the age of Aquarius,
and if there's a wind, and then it kind of doesn't average out, because I've noticed like if it's cold in the morning, the prediction is less accurate. I mean, it warms up, I don't know, so it's changed quite a bit. But we play this game and we've taken a few guesses, friendly bets on what the range, what the percentage will be when we do get to Wangaratta.
And I find when you're doing highway driving, so highway driving is actually the least efficient for an electric car. So ideally you would stick to like 60 to 80 kilometers an hour, tailwind, blah, blah, all that sort of stuff. Now, I don't want to do that. I want to drive as you drive normally. We're not going to adjust for being in an electric car. We're just going to drive as you drive. So if the speed limit's 100, we're doing 100. If it's 110, we're doing 110.
Exactly.
And I find when I do that, the prediction as we stay on the highway longer, that predicted range goes down and down and down.
Yep. Now you have done this drive many more times than I have. I have never done the Sydney drive with you.
Yes.
So you have more experience with range and stuff on that drive. So I feel like you might be more accurate than I am.
So my prediction, so we're saying we were going to be at 27% when we left.
Mm-hmm.
It's now saying we're going to be at 32% when we get there. I reckon once we get up to speed and we're doing 100, 110 for 2 hours or so, I reckon it's going to drop down to about somewhere between 10 and 15%.
Okay. And I've gone, okay, I'll be a little bit less, I'll be a bit more conservative. I don't know. I'll go between 10 and between 15 and 20. So if it gets to 16%, I win. If it gets to 15 or 14%, you win.
Now, also, I might be wrong because I hope that every time the car gets a software update, the software engineers are working out better ways to calculate these things, all that kind of stuff. So
that's hopeful.
We live in hope.
We live in hope.
Now, one of the best things about, hang on, is that everything we're going to talk about with range?
I think so.
Let me just bring up the energy app again.
Yep.
And so I was referencing this. So orange means you're driving less efficient than the car was sort of predicting. Greens mean you're driving more efficiently, so that's why we're sort of getting better. And it'll actually show you here if there's a particular thing, like if there was a headwind or a tailwind, or if you've been particularly heavy with the accelerator, things like that. It'll tell you here.
Interesting enough, when you first brought it up, it was talking about how, and I can't remember if it was a headwind or a tailwind, I think it was a headwind, had cost some percentage of the trip, and then it disappeared. It went, no, it's optimal.
Yeah.
So it does adjust.
Now, a few other things that are really handy about electric cars. Really cool thing, and if you've watched some of my road trip videos before, I'm repeating a lot of the stuff, but this might be your first video, so I want to cover the basics. Electric cars do this really cool thing called regenerative braking. And what that is, or one pedal driving as some people call it, and what that is basically as you take your foot off the accelerator, the car will slow itself down, and instead of using the brakes, it'll slow the wheels down, and it'll use that energy of the wheels and feed that energy back into the battery. So if you're going downhill for like a really long time, and there's a couple of hills after Golburn or before Golburn, I can't remember, somewhere along the way, there's a couple of downhills here where you could start at the top of the hill with, let's say, 70%, and you could have 72% by the time you get to the bottom of the hill. Which is pretty cool.
I love it.
Of course, when you're going up the hill, using more, but using more anyway. So, and the way that it shows you that is this little bar over here. And so when it's black, the car is taking energy out of the battery. And then when it turns green, the car is putting energy back into the battery. And the cool thing about that is that you could effectively drive without ever pushing the brake, just by sort of feathering the accelerator. I think that's everything with that. Yes, so that's just something to keep in mind, how it can affect the range and the battery efficiency and all that. Now, one of the nicest things, and I know other cars have this, but this is the car we have. A really cool thing about the Teslas for long drives is the adaptive the adaptive cruise control and the lane keep assist, which Tesla calls Autopilot. It's not Autopilot, so I want to make this exceptionally clear. The car does not drive itself. You still have to pay attention.
Hands on the wheel. Looking at the road.
Keeping an eye on the drivers around you, all that good stuff. But how it works, so I'm just going to switch it off, and then I'll switch it on in stages to show you how it works. So the first thing is adaptive cruise control, and how you turn that on is you push up. Nope, that's
push down.
Down. Not. It's been a while. You push down on the right-hand stalk, and that has now turned on the adaptive cruise control. And I know that it's on because I've got a max in blue here, and at the moment it's set to 90. And the car will adjust the speed according to the cars in front of us. And to add kilometers to that, you just there's a little dial on the right-hand side of the steering wheel. You push up once to add 1 kilometer to it. Ooh.
Sorry.
Yep. No, I know. Okay, probably should have let the guy in, but... Okay, so a gentleman just pulled onto the highway, and... Let me just flick up the speed, because I'm annoying people by driving to the speed limit. So, the way that the adaptive cruise control works...
110 now.
It's 110. Okay, cool, so we can go a bit faster. So, to add speed to your speed limit, you can use the dial to go by 1s, flick up on the dial to go by 5s, or tap on the speed on the screen, and that will match the speed limit. Now, so that's the adaptive cruise control, and that will slow down or speed up depending on the cars in front of you. And you can adjust the following distance, again with the dial on the right-hand side of the steering wheel. You flick left to change it to more, you flick right to change it to fewer. So I'm going to leave mine at 4, because that's what I'm comfortable with.
Yeah.
Now, the lane keep assist, you push down twice on the right-hand stalk, and that, as I turned on the lane keep assist, you get these 2 blue bars outside of the car on the map here, and now the car is going to keep me in the lane. So the car is now adjusting its speed, and we're now going around a bend, and the car is actually turning the wheel to keep us in the lane.
Yeah.
So that's the autopilot. Now, as we said, you still have to pay attention. Like you pay attention to that guy going really fast past us.
Yep.
You still have to pay attention to the road. And if you take your hands off the wheel, the car will complain within like 10 or 15 seconds going, put your hands on the wheel. Now, this is one thing to note. It's not that you have to keep your hands on the wheel. You have to give the wheel a little bit of tension. So you have to sort of turn the wheel a bit. So I normally just keep my right hand or my left hand on, and then I just sort of push up and down a bit on the wheel just so it knows that there's some tension on the wheel. And if you don't keep your tension on the wheel, keep your hands on the wheel, I think it'll give you 2 warnings. And if you don't, it'll start flashing blue. And I'll just leave my hand gently off the wheel here. Because here's the thing, Tesla recently updated this so that it's exceptionally strict. And if you, basically it'll switch off autopilot. If you don't put your hands back on the wheel in time, it'll switch off autopilot. And then you can't switch autopilot back on until you put the car in park. Yeah. So basically you have to pull over, put the car in park, and then...
if that happens a number of times, you got kind of banned from it for a week. Yeah,
and I think it's 2 or 3 times, or 5?
5. I have a feeling it's 5 times.
I think it's 5. So we're the things we do for you, dear viewers. There we go. So it's warning me, apply. Yep.
Yeah.
I am applying. Okay, good. Now I've seen reports on a lot of forums where people are going, it's really strict. It's definitely stricter than it used to be.
Yes.
But I haven't noticed it like really, really bad so far on the drive. We've been going for about an hour and 10 minutes. Yeah. Now the thing about the autopilot stuff, again, like I said, you have to pay attention to the road, but just the fact that you don't have to keep your foot on the accelerator the whole time, feathering your speed. You don't have to always be concentrating on keeping yourself in the lane and just making micro adjustments and things like that. It's not that you don't have to concentrate while you're driving, but instead of having to concentrate at 95% concentration, you can concentrate at like 80% concentration. Yeah. And I definitely find on longer drives like this, I'm a lot less fatigued.
Yeah, I find that I notice a tension. And you don't even, it's not like you're consciously tense when you're driving, but when I have this on, I find that my shoulders are less sore and tense because I am a little bit more relaxed.
Now, one thing that is a bit frustrating about the autopilot in the Tesla is that if you change lanes, it switches itself off. So as soon as you put the indicator on, the lane keep assist turns itself off. The cruise control will stay on, but as soon as you change lanes, it switches itself off, and then you've got to switch it back on once you change lanes. Now, you can get enhanced autopilot. Excuse me. You can get enhanced autopilot, which will do lane changes for you. So you indicate and the car will actually change lanes for you. Yeah. But enhanced autopilot is $5,100 extra. That's an in-app purchase for the car.
Yeah.
Alternatively, you can use, I think it's 8,000 or 9,000 referral points, if you've got referral points, to get enhanced autopilot for 3 months. Now, we did that a while ago, and we found it pretty good value, particularly for long drives. You get a whole bunch of things with enhanced autopilot. You get the lane keep, the changing lanes things. You get navigate on auto, which is a complete waste of time and money in Australia.
Yeah.
By the way, I've done videos on this specifically, so if you'd like to see that, I'll put a link up in the corner. And so, for example, we're about to change lanes, so I've got it on autopilot at the moment, and if I put the indicator on, gives us a blind spot mirror, and we change lanes, the cruise control stays on. But now that I'm in the lane, a really cool thing that Tesla do is the auto indicator off. So once you get in the lane, it turns the indicator off for you, which, once you get used to that, I find that really nice.
Yeah.
In fact, the auto indicator off thing is really smart. Not really smart, it's smart in the sense that if you go into a lane that's a turning lane and the cameras see the turning arrow, it leaves it on.
Yeah. Which is clever.
Yeah, it's a nice, it's been thought out.
Yes.
Which is nice.
Yes. But back to the
enhanced autopilot. You also get summon and smart summon, which means you can move the car backwards and forwards in and out of a tight parking spot. For the normal summon. That's without you in the car.
Yep.
That's one of these. It's not that useful, but when you need it, oh my goodness, is it nice to have?
You used it once.
I've used it a couple of times where it's been genuinely useful.
Yeah.
The smart summon, theoretically, if you're in a parking garage or in a parking lot and you've got shopping bags and you want the car to come, you can make the car come to you. It only works not on public roads, in parking lots.
It will come to you very slowly.
It'll come to you very slowly, and it's just not good enough. I don't trust it enough. So it's a party trick. It looks cool, but it's not practical. I think that's all.
No, you get the park.
Oh yes, you get the auto park stuff, which it's okay. Not great.
Hit and miss.
Again, I wouldn't pay $5,000.
Well, and that's the thing. I think we've talked about this before. Is if they could unbundle it and have things on a subscription type thing. There are certain things that I would absolutely love to have, and there are other things that I'm like, not worth it.
Yeah. Now we might, depending on how we're feeling, when we get to our first charge stop in Wangaratta, we might actually use some, because we've got quite a few referral credits. We might use some of our referral credits to get enhanced autopilot for 3 months, because we've got this long drive, and then we might be driving up to the Gold Coast in April, so it'll fit into that bracket, so that might make it worthwhile. We'll see how we go. By the way, I'm referring to the referral credits thing. If you are looking at buying a Tesla or even test driving a Tesla, you can use my referral code. If you're test driving it, I only get 100 points. I don't think you get anything, but I'd appreciate if you did that anyway. If you are buying a Tesla and using the referral link, which I'll put I'll put something up. If you are using that, I get now 5,000 points. It used to be 10,000 points.
Yeah.
But before they used to be 2,000 points. So they keep playing with the points and.
But yes, it's 2,000 points, 5,000 points, 10,000 points, 5,000 points right now.
They keep changing the points, and they don't tell you. I mean, maybe they tell you. Maybe I didn't get an email.
No.
So it'd be nice if they kept us abreast of
changes.
Would be nice. But anywho, that is something that Tesla could be a lot better with is communication. Just saying. So use the point. I think last time I checked, again, things may have changed, but last time I checked, if you use the referral link to buy a Tesla, you get 3 months of enhanced autopilot for free, and you also get some points. There used to be some money off as well, but I don't think that's the case anymore. And we get now 5,000 points, and you can use those points for various different things in the app. Again, now I'd really appreciate it if you use my code, so that'd be lovely. But if you don't want to use my code, as long as you use someone's code, in fact, I'd suggest go out and see if you can find someone who's not, like on YouTube and got a following or on social media. Just if you got a mate at the office or a family friend or something like that, use their code, because they don't get nearly as much love, as it were, as we do. We do appreciate it, but share the love. Getting back to the energy app, you can see here now that wind from the southeast. It saved us 0.2%. So
What I'm finding quite
Yay.
interesting is that there's a live projection there which says 25.5%.
now let's see if that's changed on the nav.
No, it doesn't match up.
See, this is...
So the live prediction is that we'll get there with 25.5%, but the prediction on the navigation says 28% now. I mean, that has dropped from 32%, but still, it's what gives us the live prediction versus, I don't know.
Yeah, if someone can let us know, we would
Yes.
we are all ears. So that is the projection there. Oh, actually, man, can you just pull up a better route planner on my phone? Now, we started the nav in a better route planner as well, because I was curious to see how that would match up. So can you just flick up on that?
Yep.
So it is predicting that now this is interesting. So a better route planner, now the thing is, a better route planner is not hooked up into the car, so it doesn't know, it's just guessing, it's averaging things out.
Yep.
So can you just take a screenshot of that? So better route planner, and I'll put a screenshot up now, is predicting that we will get to Wangaratta with 9%.
9%.
So again, a better route planner doesn't know what's going on with the car.
Yeah. But it's saying 9%.
And also, it's predicting that we'll get there in 1 hour and 43 minutes, and the car's saying we'll get there in 1 hour and 50 minutes.
I mean, it's close.
It's close, but when you're driving at 110 kilometers an hour, that's quite a big difference.
That is quite a big difference. And it does still, it says got the same, I mean, it says 183 kilometers to go, that says 181 kilometers, so it's a kilometer difference. And yet there's quite a bit of a difference in how long that 1 kilometer is going to take us.
That's odd, isn't it?
Yeah.
Computers are weird sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes. Most times.
Well, I think that's everything that we sort of wanted to cover, and we will pick up again when we are a few minutes out from Wangaratta. Also, the other thing that'll be interesting with this is that I know I keep teasing that we're going to cut to a commercial break, and then I think of something else. Something that occurred to me is that, okay, so I've never been to the Superchargers in Wangaratta. I didn't even know there were Superchargers in Wangaratta, and this is something that I find a bit frustrating with the Supercharger locations in Australia.
Yeah.
They're not just off the highway, they're like in little towns. And again, you're only, like, it's taking you maybe 5 minutes at the most out of your way.
But they're not well signposted often.
They're not well signposted often, and it takes you sort of 5 minutes in, 5 minutes, that's 10 minutes. If you've got 4 charging stops, that's 40 minutes.
Yeah.
That it's added to your journey, whereas opposed if they were at a service station just off the highway, it'd be a lot easier.
Yep.
Now, I did actually think about this the other day, is that I think there'd be business considerations there, in the sense that the service stations probably don't want the Tesla Superchargers there, because they might see them as competition, which I don't think they are competition, in the sense that you're actually going to make more money, because by getting electric car drivers to stop at a service station, we're going to buy your high-priced pies and snacks and things like that. So, and that's where service stations actually make a lot of their profit. So that would make a lot of sense. So I thought, okay, well, if they can't do it at service stations, maybe they could do it at like rest stops. Yeah. But here's the challenge with rest stops: how do you get the electric cables?
Well, that's the thing. Is a lot of those times those rest stops are just a table and a shelter and a bin. Yeah.
So it the cost would be prohibitive to get the electric cables to that place to have. Now, it'd be really cool if you could have, like, a solar powered charger with batteries and blah blah, but I know that there's a few being trialled out in regional Queensland. Yeah. We're not there yet.
No, we're not there yet. But I also think, you know what, it would be nice for them to not be, to be accessible in a little bit easier fashion, I suppose. But also better signposted sometimes, have some more have some facilities near them, because sometimes it's a bit of hit and miss. Sometimes you get, it's literally in the middle of nowhere. Other times, okay, well, there's a bakery nearby or something like that. But it would be nice sometimes. I know some of the ones that we found on the way to Adelaide were a bit random. So,
Except for that last one, which was the
Yeah.
one, the first supercharger sort of out of Adelaide,
Oh,
is exactly how it should be.
exactly. It's a big service station. There's a whole lot of stuff there.
Only thing missing is a roof over the chargers.
This is true, because it was raining.
Yeah. So again, not a big deal. And
Yeah.
again, we're grateful what an age we live in that these things exist.
Yes.
But room for improvement.
Always room for improvement.
Always room for improvement. So I think that is it. We will pick up again when we are closer to Wangaratta, and it'll be an adventure for all of us because I've never been to that supercharger, and we'll pick up when we get there. See you in a bit.
Bye.
Welcome back, dear viewer. We are going to try something a little bit. We're going to try something. So I saw a sign about copyright strike. You can't carry a tune, eh? I won't know what song you're trying to sing.
I love you too.
Yes. So I saw a sign about 5-10 minutes back that said Wodonga, 170 whatever kilometers away, and I looked and we'd only done like 170. I thought, I wonder if we could skip Wangaratta and go further and get to Wodonga. So again, Wangaratta was saying we were going to get to Wangaratta with 20-something%, but if my dear wife goes and finds, actually it might be in recent, if you tap on navigate and finds the supercharger in Wodonga, and then we select that as our destination. Now it's suggesting that we stop in Wangaratta, so if we say remove all charge stops,
5%.
so we could either play it safe and stop in Wangaratta with 23%, or go all the way to Wodonga and get to Wodonga with 5%, or
Oh God.
because Albury, hang on, let me just change lanes, then you can change that.
I can push the Albury one on.
Yeah, Albury has got these cool new and remove charging stops. Albury has got these cool version 4 whatever. Yes, I'm paying attention, thank you very much. That was the blue thing, by the way.
Yeah.
On that, something that we were talking about earlier, so a lot of people in forums have been talking about how they've been locked out of their car for a week because they didn't get
Not locked out of the car, locked out of Autopilot.
Yes, you're right. Locked out of using Autopilot for a week because they didn't put their hands on the wheel when told to put their hand on the wheel. Something that I've noticed is the blue thing, like the highlight thing telling you to put your hands on the wheel. I'm just going to change lanes here because there's a car on the side, so they might need to get back on, so I'm going to give them some space. Something that I noticed is the blue indicator and the UI to say put your hands back on the wheel only comes up on the right hand side here.
Yeah.
I think if you are actually paying attention to the road, even while Autopilot's on, which is what you should do, here's the problem. You might not notice that's come on to tell you to put your hands on the wheel. So your hands are on the wheel, but you're not giving the tension, and that thing comes on, you don't notice, and it locks you out.
Yeah.
So just one little thing. First of all, there should be a dash in front of you. That'd be nice. But we've lost that battle.
We have.
But it'd be nice if the UI, the blue indicator, say put your hands on the wheel, was across the whole screen.
Yes, agreed.
So I think that's something that Tesla could do to improve the UI for that. But yeah, so now it's saying that we're going to get to Albury with 5%.
Mm-hmm.
But that means we cut out one of our charge stops, I think. Or we can definitely charge up in Albury and then get to Gundagai.
Yes.
So...
And hopefully that means we'll have enough time to pee.
Yes. Because we're an hour and 27 minutes away and our bladders are telling us we should stop now, but we're barreling through.
We're barreling.
Now, we might chicken out.
Depending. Look, I think we've done pretty well. I have to say the estimates have held pretty steady for Wangaratta. So you were predicting it was going to drop to between 10 and 15%, and it was holding pretty steady at 23 to 25%.
Yep.
So I feel as if it's, I don't know, knock on something, been
fake wood.
okay, fake wood. So we will see. It might
Yeah.
be all right. 5% isn't.
We've never done that, have we?
We've never done that.
We've never been as low as 5%. So that's living on the edge.
Yep.
Something that is also worth mentioning is the air conditioning.
Yes.
Does affect your battery life. Like I remember when we were reviewing the EV6.
Yes, it made a massive effect.
It made a massive. But what was nice is the EV6 actually showed you what your range would be if you turned the aircon off and what it was with it on.
Yeah.
I think Tesla probably doesn't want to show you that because maybe it'd be quite dramatic, because it was quite dramatic in the EV6.
Yeah.
Now at the moment the aircon's not having to work very hard because it's only 22 degrees outside, so it's pleasant outside, and we've only set it to 20.5 inside, so the air conditioning's really not working that hard. And I think as I said that, the air conditioning's kicked off a little bit harder. But that is something else we could do. So I'm going to turn the aircon off and see if. Okay, that noise I think was something else.
It was the truck.
It was a truck that we just drove past. But yeah, so I'm wondering if we turn the aircon off and leave it off for.
God.
No, like 2 or 3 minutes. Don't worry, we'll turn it back on.
Okay.
But I just want to see if we turn the aircon off for 2 or 3 minutes, if our prediction goes up. Another little annoying thing. So yes, I'm keeping my hands on the wheel. Thank you. Now it's also saying pay attention to the road because there's a camera in there.
Yes.
That's checking if my eyes are on the road.
And don't look at the camera while you're driving. Look at the road.
Look at the road. Although there's been plenty of times when I've looked at you and looked at the camera, and
I think it's the combination of
that I'm doing something.
You're doing
It knows I'm
something.
doing something.
You've just put Autopilot on, so it's a few things. It's saying, hang on, you just put Autopilot on. Don't think that you can go and play a game.
So we've lost all the information in the energy app from the trip that we were doing as soon as we cancel navigation, and that read 4.1. But you can go to rated, and that'll give you at least for the drive you're going.
And apparently, so we've got going uphill has cost 10.6%, and going downhill saved 9.1% this drive. Why they can't just average it out and say going uphill cost 1.5% this drive?
Maybe they're trying to educate us that going uphill.
But it's not as though we kind of go, oh, let's go choose this hill that the car doesn't recommend so we can go uphill. Like, what's it going to go? You've taken an uphill that I predicted because it's in your route. I'm confused. Anyway.
Yeah, the car doesn't seem to sort of get that there's. Okay, it's dropped down to 4%.
Okay, we'll be fine. Totally fine.
Look, worst comes to worst, we can change to a donga, and the donga ones are slightly nearer, and we can always chicken out and go to Wangaratta. Like, if it drops to 2% predicted, I think we might chicken out. But we'll see how we go.
Yeah.
And I'm going to turning the aircon back on because the sun's right on me. I suppose we could turn on the ventilated seats. See what that does.
Oh God.
Because we've got the ventilated seat covers.
We do.
Link in the corner for that video if you're interested. I was actually using the ventilated seats yesterday. They work really well.
They really do.
They do work really well.
Especially if you're like me and you forget to put the air conditioning on ahead of time, and you get into a car and you're like, oh, it's 36 degrees in the car.
Yes, I'm a big fan. One of the best features of the Tesla, and I know other cars do it, but there's other cars that don't do it, is the fact that you can access the air conditioning from the app, and you can turn the air conditioning on in the car when you're not in the car, so that when you get to the car, it's nice and cool.
Which has been really nice, like the last day, when we've had some hot days, which we haven't had a lot of in Victoria, but I know
Queensland and New South Wales
and Western Australia
and WA,
have had some really, really hot days, and it's very nice to know that it's 40 degrees outside, but you can make the car nice and cool before you get into it. That's if you remember to do it.
If you remember to. Something that Man and I were talking a little bit about before we turned the cameras on is one of the reasons why we're focusing on the Tesla Superchargers, because generally they always, let me not jinx myself, but generally they always work and they're available and blah blah and all that sort of stuff. They are very often the most expensive chargers because they are, you pay for what you get sort of thing. But we've also used the referral credits for, I know it's down to 3%. We also use referral credits for supercharging miles. So we've got like 5,000 supercharging miles to use up, and they run out. So we've got to use them by April.
Yep.
But it's interesting that the way that, like, so they charge you in kilometers. So we've got X amount of kilometers that we can use. Whereas my initial thought was, why don't they do it in kilowatts? Because you're putting so to explain how electric cars, how you measure the battery, like you put liters of fuel in your petrol car, you put kilowatts of energy into your electric car.
So if you were to get free petrol, you would think, I wonder how many liters of petrol am I getting, rather than, 1,000 kilometers.
Yeah, because the kilometers, it's variable. It depends on how you're driving. It depends on where you're driving in a petrol car as well. So it's interesting that the measure that they use is kilometers or miles as opposed to kilowatts. But I suppose they want to try keep things as familiar as possible for people who aren't used to electric cars, not familiar with the terminology and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm guessing, I don't know. So, right, well, that's down to 3%. I mean, maybe we'll hit a downhill area and that'll get better.
Maybe.
Right, well, we will pick up in a bit, probably maybe when we're close to Wangaratta, because we've chickened out and we've gone to Wangaratta. No, but that's Albury. We could still make it to Wodonga.
You're welcome to put in below in the comments your guesses as to which supercharger we end up at.
My social media manager.
Comment and like and subscribe. But yes, go ahead, give us some guesses.
Okay, we'll pick up in a bit. So we've come back a bit quicker than expected, because pretty much as we switched all the cameras off, we were like, okay, cameras off, cool. Well, there we go. This came up. It dropped down to 2%, and this thing came up, said stay below 100 kilometers an hour to reach your destination, which is not acceptable because we want to drive normally. So Mandy, could you please cancel that?
Hang on. Can and trip.
And put in the Wodonga superchargers.
Wodonga.
Which is just a little bit closer.
Very slightly.
And say remove all charging stops.
And that's 5%.
That's 5%.
That's a bit better.
Well, it's 5%, but we were 5% and it dropped from 5 to 2 in like 5 minutes.
This is very true.
So this one might drop as well, and we might be going to Wangaratta anyway.
And I'm sure there are people out there who are going to go, 2%, you'll be fine. You'll be totally fine. Good for you.
Let us know how it goes in the comments.
Yeah.
No, but also, again, this is here's some of the logic here, is that, yes, 5% is fine. I'm perfectly comfortable with 5%. It's not a major issue. But in the space of 5 minutes, the prediction dropped from 5% to 2%. And we've got an hour and 12 minutes to go. And so my concern is that in that amount of time, how much else is it going to drop, sort of thing?
Yeah.
So
it's dropped to 4% already.
Yeah, so there we go. In the time that we've been talking, it's dropped down to 4%. So I reckon we might just change it to Wangaratta and be done with it. And also, like, if you look at this whole time that we're driving, we're clearly on an uphill or something, because the car's definitely not as efficient as it could be.
Yeah.
And so the prediction is going to keep going down. Now, let's give it a couple of minutes. So at the moment, see, it just dropped from 4.6 to 4.2.
Yeah.
And yeah, see, now it's predicting 4%.
Yeah.
So I think...
Do you think Wangaratta?
I think Wangaratta.
Okay.
Change it to Wangaratta, please. Thank you. Thank you, Navigator.
Back we go.
Back we go. And also means we can pee sooner. So that's actually... Oh, look. It's only... So interesting. So when we changed it off of Wangaratta, it was like about 25%.
Yep.
So I'm guessing that this part of the route, we're going uphill.
Yeah.
And that's what's probably affecting it more than anything else.
Yeah.
But again, this is what's frustrating is,
It knows this.
like, we have maps that talk about topography. Like,
Yeah.
the car should know that,
Yep.
or maybe Google Maps don't tell
I don't know.
the heights. I don't know. I don't know. But, you know, electric cars, and particularly Teslas, have been around long enough that look, maybe it's a negotiation thing. Maybe Tesla went to Google and said, hey, can we have the height information? And Google said it'll be $1 billion. And Tesla said, no, thank you.
Yeah.
I don't know. But
Elon couldn't find the change.
it seems like something that the car should be able to do.
Yeah.
Is to know, seeing as how much it can affect your range, it feels like it's something that the car should be able to do. So
I agree with that.
And maybe people in the comments will tell me it does do that. Well, if it does, the results don't seem to match
Yes.
up with that.
Yes. Educate us.
Educate us, please. Last things, and I think what we might do when we get to Wangaratta, it suddenly occurred to me, actually, no, you were saying, didn't occur to me, you're smarter than me. Because I was saying to Mandy that one thing that I found a bit frustrating is that normally how we set the nav, we go, right, just get us to our destination. It gives us all the charging stops along the way, and we do the charging stops. I can't see what time we're going to be in Sydney.
No.
Like I can only see on here what time we're going to be in Wangaratta. And Mandy was like, oh, but we could just navigate to where we're going in Sydney, remove all the charging stops, and then go in here and say add stops. So we might do that when we get to Wangaratta. Or, to be a bit fancy, because you can set up navigation in the Tesla app now and send it to the car.
Okay, maybe
So I
we'll do
wonder
that.
if before we get there, Mandy, you could do that in the app, and that way we could save a bit of time.
I could do that.
If we do that, you'll be seeing some B-roll of Mandy doing this, because I'll get Mandy to screen capture it on the phone right now while we're doing it.
And Mandy will learn how to screen capture on the phone.
And if not, something's gone wrong, and we haven't been able to do it. So, because we don't need to record, you don't need to see all of that. It's fairly easy to see. So we will catch you up. So yeah,
Catch you soon.
unfortunately, yeah, Albury and Wodonga off the cards at the moment. Off to Wangaratta we go. We are about 10 minutes out, and we're about to take the turn off towards Wangaratta. Sorry, the Kiwi, I keep wanting to call it Whangarei. So for those who aren't familiar, there's a town north of Auckland called Whangarei in New Zealand, and whenever I think of Wangaratta, it feels like Whangarei in my mouth.
Oh, that sounds so wrong.
As I said it, like it was coming out of my brain and went into my... Yeah, but... Come on, Mandy, be a grown-up. Anywho, we're 8 minutes out, and did we mention we really need to pee?
We need to pee.
Oh my goodness. I don't, like, all these people are like, oh, my car drives 1,000 feet. Like, do you just have, like, bottles of urine in your car? Like, what?
Well, maybe I just have really, really strong bladders.
Or catheters.
Catheters. I
Ugh.
don't know. I don't know.
Anyway, we're going off topic.
Are we? Sorry.
No, you're right. It's on topic.
It's on
anyway.
topic for us. Anyway.
So, Mandy, do you want to talk the lovely folks through the process of doing the whole navigation? Because as you can see, we have managed to put in our Airbnb in Sydney and put in the stops that
It's
a better route
actually-
planner was suggesting.
So it was a bit frustrating, but actually easier than I expected in some respects, because what I did was I went into the app and it showed the navigation for the car, but we already had it to I now want to say Whangarei, thank you very much, to Wangaratta. I pasted our Airbnb address in there, and because I think we passed Euroa already, it actually automatically gave us the correct well, not correct. The charging stops that we wanted as per a better route planner.
Yeah. So skipped Wodonga.
It skipped Wodonga because we'd already passed Euroa. And then I just pressed send to car.
And it just, it showed up. Now, interestingly enough, a better route planner is saying that we should charge for 13 minutes and get up to 53% in Wangaratta. Now I keep wanting to say
I know, right? You've got it in our heads.
But the car is suggesting that we only charge for 10 minutes here, and it doesn't even tell us what percent we should get to or not. Now, interestingly, so for those who aren't familiar with Tesla road trips, really cool. We're going to plug the car in, go away, find a bathroom, get some food, and we'll actually get a notification on our phones and our watches and anything that's sort of logged into the app to say, hey, the car's charged enough, come back to the car and get the car, you're ready to carry on your destination. That's pretty darn cool the way that works. Yeah. But we're going to go with a better route planner, because a better route planner is sort of trying to work out by the skin of your teeth optimum, what's the exact sort of thing. So we're going to, and also we're always going to end up charging longer than we mean to, because very often...
take longer.
Yeah, it just takes...
do stuff.
Yeah, it just takes longer to do stuff when you get somewhere.
Yeah.
You were saying something before. Oh, we were talking about range anxiety.
Yes. So I'm saying, I'm like, oh, okay, 21, 22%. Sounds better than 5 or 3%.
Yes.
Which it really does. And about a year ago, I would have been quite uncomfortable with 22%. In fact, I probably would have been not insisting, but pushing quite a bit to stop. Encouraging very strongly that we would have stopped at Euro, because I wouldn't have felt comfortable with 22%. Because what happens. Now I look at 22% and I'm like, oh, that's plenty. Yeah. Absolutely plenty. It's totally fine. It's held. Quite interestingly, we both predicted it would be less than 20% to get to Wangaratta, and we're both wrong. It held really steady from about, 22, it got down to 21 briefly, but 22 to 25%.
And in terms of the swings and roundabouts, when we left home, it said it was predicting 27%.
Yep.
Then as we were driving out of the city and we were in traffic, so we were stop-start, which is more efficient for electric cars because it just is. It got up as high as predicting we'd get here with 33%.
Yep.
And now it looks like we're going to get here with 22.
22, which is still really good.
Yeah.
And yeah, I still didn't really quite feel comfortable with Albury or Wodonga, but neither did you. So that was
well, I was fine with 5%
when it went down to 2%.
Yeah, but when it dropped from 5 to 2% in the space of 5 minutes,
yeah,
like what's the next 5 minutes gonna do? So yeah, that was why I was a bit
hesitant. Yes, maybe next time. Maybe. Who knows? Who knows? But yes.
And the thing is, worse comes to worse, you slow down a bit. So instead of doing 110 like the car suggested, it came up and said, hey, do 100 instead of 110 to get to your destination. Now also something interesting that the car's not doing.
Preconditioning.
So something really clever that a lot of electric cars do is a thing called preconditioning. So the ideal temperature for, look, different cars, different batteries, all that kind of stuff, but from what I've read, the ideal temperature for the battery for this car when it's charging is 45 degrees Celsius.
Interesting.
And so normally what happens, when you've put in the navigation that you're going to a supercharger, the car will begin preconditioning, which basically means it'll either cool the battery down or heat the battery up, so that when you get to the charger, the battery is at 45 degrees Celsius and it can accept as much charge as possible, so that you can charge faster than if the battery had to warm up a little bit once you plugged it into the charger.
Yeah.
So normally it would come up here and say preconditioning to get to charger. Now, it's not doing that. I'm assuming
that we are close enough to 45 degrees.
Yeah, I'm assuming that it's just that the battery is close to 45 degrees anyway, and that's why it's not preconditioned. Or maybe it'll only precondition when we're like a minute away, but we're pretty close. In fact, I remember, we had lunch at that cafe last time we were in Wangaratta, or there's a cafe near here. I think it's one street down.
That's a piano shop.
Okay, it wasn't at the piano shop. I think that was the motel we stayed at. But there was that coffee shop, down on Parallel.
Yes.
Really good place for coffee.
It was.
And we're gonna miss. It's a shame. We're gonna drive.
No, that was a cafe.
No, that's it. Okay, sorry, it was right there.
Yes.
And we're actually gonna drive past the EV chargers here, which Simon and I stopped at when we were driving up to Sydney.
Just that's why that was Reese and Reese cafe there.
Yeah.
It was very good.
Reese and Reese, really, really good. So if we turned left here,
Yes.
there are the EV chargers.
Yes.
Right on the corner, which is
really difficult.
a really bad spot
Yes.
for them to be there.
Yes.
Because people coming off the roundabout, and when Simon and I were here, it was really busy. It was raining. It was a thing.
It was a thing.
It was a thing. But it looks like the superchargers here are very close. And again, we're not preconditioning, so I'm gonna
Assume we are conditioned.
Something that's a little bit frustrating with the preconditioning, the only way you can get a Tesla to precondition with all the built-in stuff is to navigate to a supercharger. So if you're going to a non-Tesla charger, you can't tell the car to precondition.
And that's really frustrating.
That is really frustrating. Now, there's reasons why I can understand why they would have done that, is that because obviously your preconditioning is using up some of the battery. And what if you told the car to precondition when you didn't mean to tell it to precondition, and therefore it's using some of the battery unnecessarily? By the way, Wangaratta, really pretty town.
So pretty.
Really pretty town. Lovely place to come and visit. We spent a weekend here for a photography thing a few years ago, and it was absolutely lovely. And okay, you're going to stand in the middle of the road? Yeah, you're going to wait for us? Thank you.
Oh, there's a bookshop.
Mandy cannot resist a bookshop.
Yes.
Remember, we don't have a lot of time here.
We need to pee.
Yeah, but we've only got like 15 minutes. Okay, so apparently, and this is what we were talking about. No, I know. I've seen the photos. It's in this parking garage.
Okay, but that's still like, where's the signage?
There's no signage. Yeah, there's absolutely no signage.
And it's an awkward pee.
Oh, yeah, that is.
Awkward.
Mandy, can you adjust the exposure?
On.
Actually, is that camera off?
Oh. It appears to be off.
Oh, damn it! Now, I've got no idea.
When it stopped.
No, I've got no idea where the hell the chargers are.
Okay.
So is it on this level? Is it on the next level?
I don't know.
Well, it's not on this level. Okay, so let's go up a level.
At the top, maybe?
Hang on, there's a photo. Wait. Looks like it's on the roof.
Yeah. Where the hell's the signage?
Yeah. Apologies for that. We didn't realise that the memory card had run out on that camera, and I've got no idea when it stopped recording. We could have been blathering on for quite some time. Well, we found the superchargers in Wangaratta.
There is no signage.
Yeah, just beyond awful signage.
No, there is no.
There is no, well, at least nothing that we could see. And you always have to get very, very close because the cables are really, really short. I think that's close enough.
Okay.
And now let me show you quickly how the charging experience works with a Tesla. So really simple to charge. You pull out the charging cable. Nice thing is you push the button, that opens up your charge port. You plug it in. And that's it. That's all there is to it. And so, yeah, see, it's saying 6 minutes to continue trip. I think it's maybe going to suggest we stop in Wodonga or something. I don't know, but
We're taking longer.
We're taking a bit longer.
Yeah.
So maybe if we stay here a bit longer, we'll skip Holbrook and go straight to Gundagai. But anyway, we are getting 160 kilowatts, 158 kilowatts, 1,000 kilometers an hour. That'll slow down. This is another thing very important to know about charging, is that there's a thing called a charging curve. So as you plug in, the car's going to charge really, really fast. And again, as I was saying, you know, that whole 80% thing, as the car keeps charging, the charging speed will slow down and slow down and slow down. So the more charge that goes into the battery, the slower the charging will get. We're going to go find bathrooms.
Yep.
So as predicted, we took too long. Just the amount of time it took us just to go to the bathroom.
I swear the bathroom could not have been further away.
No,
Like,
I think it's right at the end of the shopping centre. So we'll talk. Also, the memory card ran out on the camera. I'm a professional. So I've got no idea what we missed on camera, but rest assured, it was the best content in this video.
Amazing.
that we'll ever make
Amazing.
again. I'm going to unplug. You can see we've slowed right down. It says we've got enough to continue our destination. We're at 83%. What does that I say? Oh, that gives you more information. So charging expected rate, battery, energy level, expect charge rate to slow. Yep, so that's telling us that. So let's go unplug. And let
Now
us...
it's saying that we're going to get to Holbrook, Holburn, whatever it is.
Holbrook, I think.
With 48% because we charged with quite a bit.
Yeah, so what we might try...
Might try.
Again, we're experimenting here a little bit. So what I think we might try is we might actually try and see if we can get all the way to Gundagai without having to stop at Holbrook. I don't think we've got enough to get there. We'll check distances and stuff and so on.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that might be what we try. We will update you in a bit. So we're 17 minutes out from Holbrook and we need to make a decision.
We do.
So at the moment, see now the car says it's preconditioning. It's weird because it didn't do that when we went to Wangaratta. Odd.
Very odd.
Anywho, so the car's already started preconditioning. In fact, the car might have just started preconditioning for Holbrook. Now it's predicting that we're going to get to Holbrook with 41%. We will charge for only 10 minutes. And then we head off to Gundagai. We should get to Gundagai with 10%. Now, I'm just curious to see if we edit this trip, remove Holbrook,
God.
we can put it back, and let's see what it says. Calculating.
Yeah. No, it's still put in Gundagai. It's still
putting Holbrook. Okay, so it's.
Now I'm confused.
I think it's not giving us the option. I think it's...
No, it's basically saying you can't do that.
Yeah.
So therefore, because now it's saying we get to Gundagai after charging in Holbrook for 10 minutes, we'll get to Gundagai with 14%. I think it's going to say we can't do it.
Okay, well in that case we are going to Holbrook.
For a whole 10 minutes.
For a whole 10 minutes. But we can fill you in on what snacks we've brought.
To fill us up.
Yes, because I'm hungry, so we can start. I was like, we can't start eating the snacks before we show the snacks on camera. Oh, the life of a...
Oh my god! Oh my god! The life of a...
That's not even first world problems. That's what's worse than first world problems. I don't know. Whatever it is, it's that.
Yes, imaginary world problems. Anyway.
Anywho, we will catch you back in about 10 or so minutes once we're close to Holbrook. We are just taking the turn off to Holbrook. I think if I was braver, we probably could have continued to Gundagai.
Yeah, probably.
And we probably would have just made it. It feels like this area is flatter or a bit more of a downhill at this stage, and so we would have gotten there somewhere around the 10% mark. What in heaven? Okay, they stop, we don't. Yes, okay. That is odd, isn't it?
That's confusing.
That's not...
No,
okay.
I was confused.
Because normally there's a stop.
Yeah.
But no, the people who are coming onto... Okay, cool.
But see, that's interesting. This is the driving thing. There was an accident near our house, near us, about a week ago. And a P-plater was involved. And...
For those international viewers, what is a P-plater?
A P-plater is someone who's gotten they're a probationary driver. So they've gotten their license, but I think I'm a little bit fuzzy on it, but I know in Victoria at least,
for a number of years.
For a number of years, they're on what's called P plates. You have your green P plates and you have your red P plates, which say that you're on a slightly different level of.
And there's a few limitations. I think the amount of people you can have in the car.
Yeah, and you can't have any alcohol in your system, and you can't have you can't drive certain really really powerful cars, etc. But so a P-plate driver was involved, and I was talking to someone who's saying, oh, you know, they were at the right of way, they were in the right. I was like, well, yes, they were, and that's good, but at the same time, but my father's said in the past, you know, you can be right, but you can also be right in the back of an ambulance. And but my wrong way of saying this is that as you get more experience, you learn to anticipate things, right? So you get to a crossing and you're like, oh, this looks a little bit dodgy, a little bit dangerous, I'm going to slow down. Or you
can see someone driving, swerving a little bit and you go, oh, I'll give them a bit of space.
Yeah. And you start to recognize things, which I think just comes with experience.
Yeah.
It's always drive defensively. Another thing my parents have always taught me is drive as if everyone else on the road is an idiot. Which is not to say everyone else on the road is an idiot, but
you know.
You never know.
You never know.
Anyway, that's my rant.
So I've never been to these Superchargers before. Right, it's right in the RSL. So yes. I presume you could probably go in and use the RSL's bathrooms if you needed to. Ooh, snug little.
That is quite snug.
Now, something I should mention, and we'll park in the shade because why not, is that chargers share their power. So if you get to a charging location and there's loads of people plugged in, try and as usual, I've done this terribly.
Well, this is a very tight. No, I'm going to say this is a very tight, weird.
Yeah, So don't park right next to someone. Park with a space between you and the next charger, because otherwise you might have to share the power between your charger and the person parked right next to you, if that makes sense. My love, can you go out and just plug in quickly? And
I certainly can.
And then we will look at snacks.
Yay, snacks!
So it's predicting that we would get to Gundagai with 0% if we left right now. So we are going to have to charge just a little bit. Right, we've only got 4 minutes, so quick, let's look at snacks. Now this is, I mean...
You bought the snacks, I have no idea.
This is highly important because you can't go on a road trip without snacks or patkos from our South African heritage. So yes. I like getting random foreign stuff.
Yes.
Because I like trying things I've never tried before. So first of all, strawberry Kit Kats.
Interesting. Okay.
Kit Kats. So okay. Okay. We have Korean crackers.
Okay.
Because we're watching a really cool thing on SBS. I want to say John Turturro, but not Turturro. An Australian guy who's... Man, he's going to look it up. We watched this really cool show on SBS, like a travel show in Korea. Filmed quite a while ago, but still really cool. So we've gotten really into Korean food. I've got barbecue cube, sort of chippies. We've got a selection of mochi. Can't go anywhere without your mochi. We've got...
John Turturro.
John Turturro, Korea something.
Yeah.
Fruit mix gummy candy. Love me some gummy candy.
You do love you some gummy candy.
Don't love the individual wrapping though.
No, not so good for the environment.
Mexican spicy.
Mexican spicy, okay.
Now you found this in the bag earlier.
I did.
I thought let's try it. Seaweed Pringles.
I was quite excited because I was like, oh, maybe it's like a sour cream and onion. No, seaweed. Okay.
But I don't know if it's. I mean, the picture. Oh no, it says seaweed flavour.
It does say seaweed flavour.
So probably not going to like it, but as we say to Archie all the time,
you've got to try things.
You've got to try things. So you've got to try new things. These ones I've had before. These are really good. Soy sauce ramen flavored chips. So those are really nice. And then we got just the matcha poke.
Okay.
We got peach gummy candy.
Peach gummy candy.
I love the texture. I love
I do not love the
rubbery.
texture.
Well, then they're all for me then. We got the grape gummy candy. Don't worry, this doesn't last just this trip. It'll last a while. We got burger-shaped chocolate biscuit crackety things.
I will try that.
And then finally we've got Pico gummy. No idea.
Oh my god.
And then you've also got a couple of things. I mean, we've got dry horse. Like you can't...
Well, I don't really have a couple of things. I've just got very traditional Uncle Toby's protein.
Not a sponsored link.
Not a sponsored link, but happy if you sponsor us. Please sponsor us. And we've got some dry horse biltong.
Yeah, well, we'll open it up. For those who don't know what dry horse is, Manny, all they can see is your head in the camera.
Oh, sorry.
That is dry horse. It's kind of like cured
Meat.
salted, spiced. It's like beef jerky, but it's
Better.
It's like beef jerky, but a lot better. And there's
Yes.
biltong, but we ran out of biltong
We
for
did.
the trip. So 1 minute to continue. It's been a very short charging trip, and we're going to get to Gundagai with 12%. Oh,
12%.
and it's now going to say that we've charged enough. I didn't even get to get out of the car.
No, you didn't. Do you want to unplug the car, or would you like me to unplug?
Well, let's wait for it to tell us that it's done.
Okay.
You know what? Let's try the Pringles.
All right, we'll try the Pringles on camera.
So there we go.
We have enough.
Yeah. So that was a ridiculously fast.
We're trying the Pringles. You didn't even wait for me.
Oh wow! No, that is delicious. It's like those wasabi peas.
Oh my god! Yes, that's not just seaweed flavor. That's seaweed and wasabi.
Oh, that is good.
But I'm gonna get thirsty.
Well, we've got water, so that is
Spicy.
Oh, yeah.
I like.
This is from that Korean place on well, not Korean. It's an Asian place on not Centre Road, corner of Centre and
East Boundary.
Corner of Centre and East Boundary in Melbourne. You can get these seaweed Pringles. Those are really nice.
I like those.
They are not going to last. I don't think they're going to last till Gundagai.
Well, they might, but
It's an hour and 14 minutes to Gundagai.
they won't last long.
So we have got enough charge to get to where we're going. So we will get there with 16%. So unplug, please.
I will.
While she's out there, I'm going to show you my cool sunglasses. I do have a link, a discount code for these sunglasses / glasses. I've got loads of different types of sunglasses. So these are called flying eyes. The main reason why I really like them, I don't know why I'm talking about this, but I really like these. First of all, they're ridiculously light, but I wear headphones a lot during my day job. And if you've got normal glasses, putting headphones on and this sort of thick bit, it hurts, it breaks the seal. So having these really thin, really, really cool. And then you can get like different styles and whatever of the magnetic sunglasses, which I really like. So discount code on our website.
Yes.
notacarguy.io. So let's turn the aircon back on and let's get going. I think we definitely could have skipped this charging stop, but we've never been here before. Nice to visit new places.
And we got to try some snacks.
And we got to try some snacks. We will see you when we're almost at Gundagai. We are 4 minutes out from Gundagai, and as it turns out, we totally could have skipped the charging in Holbrook and gone straight to Gundagai, because I don't even remember how much percentage we got.
Don't remember.
But let's say we got 10% while we were in Gundagai, not even.
Yeah.
When we were in Holbrook, and we're arriving in Gundagai with 22%. So if we hadn't have stopped in Holbrook, we would have gotten here with 10, maybe even 12%. So we'll know for next time.
Yeah.
It's definitely warmed up.
Yes.
So it is 29 degrees outside. In old money, that's more. Fahrenheit people, I'll see if I can put something down here, but you really should just use Celsius.
You should.
I'm gonna do something. Well, let me know in the comments if you think this is cheeky or not. The windscreen, as you can see I don't know how much the camera's picking it up, but
It's filthy.
yeah, well, you know what? It reminds me of that old joke. It's like, what's the last thing that goes through a bug's head as it hits your windshield? It's feet.
There are lots of bugs who had their last moments on our windscreen.
And lots of feet.
Lots of feet.
So I need to clean the windshield, and there's a petrol station right next to Oliver's where the Supercharger is at Gundagai. So we're gonna pull into the service station. You know what? Do you think that's cheeky? Obviously I'm not going to buy petrol because I don't need to, but I need to clean the windshield. I've done it before. It's not a big deal, but I'm just...
Clean the windscreen.
Yeah, sorry, clean the windscreen. What did I say?
Windshield. Same thing.
Same thing,
Yes,
okay.
clean the windscreen.
Yeah. So,
Clean it. Do it. Do it.
well, look, I'll tell you what. If there's loads of cars there and, people are waiting to fill up, then, I'm not going to take up a spot because that would be rude. But if it's... Interesting. It's telling us to go in the... other way, but I'm pretty sure this is an entrance as well.
Yeah.
Although I'm not going to take it if it's not showing as an entrance.
Interesting.
No, it's showing as an entrance, just not showing it on the map.
Weird.
Yeah, and there's tons of spots open at the petrol station, so we can pull in. Although, you know what, it'd be cool if they left like a windscreen washing thing
At the charging.
or even if the petrol station left it by the, where you fill your tyres up.
Yeah.
So hopefully I don't upset anyone. Oh, and there's a detour anyway, so we've got to go through the petrol station anyway.
Is probably why they checked
why
the
they
other way.
Yeah. But yeah, so
Anyway.
we will pull up here and just clean the windshield really quickly, and I can see there's not a windshield placed by the tyres, so let's just shush. I'll be as quick as I can so I don't inconvenience anyone.
Very nice of you.
I'm a nice person.
So much better.
Yeah. So, if we left now, we would
Get to Golburn with
minus 42%,
yes.
which means we wouldn't get there.
No, we would
But interestingly enough, that's suggesting that they think we only need about 52%
to
get to Golburn. So, might be a very quick lunch. Okay. So I see what's going on here. Right. So, we do actually have to go all the way around.
Yes, we got to get back onto the
Back onto the highway. Okay. Maps. I apologise. You were right. I was wrong. As usual, I was wrong, and everyone else was right. You don't have to be that happy about it.
I'm just.
I wonder what's going on with this Model Y. I hope they're all right.
Yeah.
There's no one in there, is there?
No.
So estimated charge time is 35 minutes.
Oh.
Interesting that, again,
Went down.
didn't come up and say
Preconditioning.
Well, again, it's warm out, so
Yeah.
maybe the battery's so warm from us driving that it doesn't need to precondition.
Yeah.
Now, interesting that the chargers used to all be next to each other, whereas now the non-Tesla chargers, the NRMA ChargeFox ones, are here, and the Tesla ones are still round the back.
Okay. Maybe NRMA paid for better positioning,
I guess so.
whereas Tesla won't. People are going to use our chargers regardless.
Yeah. What you gonna do?
Yeah. We don't need you.
I've done a slightly better job this time.
Yeah. But there's more space this time.
Yes.
Honestly, the Holbrook ones are in a weird position.
Snug.
They're snug, right? And because you have to reverse into it, you can't not. Yeah.
Can you plug us in, please?
I certainly can.
Thank you. And we will see what charging speeds we're getting. And so at the moment, now this is interesting. So it's predicting that we need to be here for 35 minutes, but that prediction often changes as soon as you plug the car in, because the car doesn't know kind of exactly how fast it's going to charge.
Which charger do I use?
Whichever one's going to get in there.
Okay. There we go.
So, plugged in, starting to charge. Okay, there we go. So, remember, so it was saying 35 minutes before we plugged in.
Yep.
Now that we've actually plugged in,
It's
saying 25 minutes, and it's ramping up, so let's see what it...
And when we were on our way, it said 40 minutes.
So, but 25 minutes is enough time to have lunch and chill out for a bit. And
Yeah. We're not going to get up exactly 25 minutes if we're speeding.
No, it'll be fine. We're not in a huge rush or anything. Okay, so it looks like it's topping out at 132 kilowatts. We are going to go and sort ourselves out and eat and all that good stuff. We will see in a bit. Well, we're a couple of minutes out of Gundagai. When we left Gundagai, sorry we didn't start recording there, but Manny was on a call and we had to do stuff, so it's all good. It just dropped from 28% predicted to 27%. As usual, we stayed a little bit longer than we were planning to. It took a little bit of a while for our food to arrive, but the food was interesting.
It was.
I had a very yummy mango smoothie, which was nice,
Yes.
with a straw that didn't seem to want to work for the first 2 minutes, just sucking up air. Was an interesting experience. I was like, is this straw going like through the bottom
I was
of
like,
the table, or
yeah.
it was weird. And we got the halloumi bowl, which was very nice.
Very nice.
And then what they call organic nuggets. And you had some thoughts on that.
Well, I'm just not sure what organic what.
Yes.
That look, they were different. They were baked.
It felt almost like fake meat.
Yes,
Like-
it did feel like fake meat.
Yeah. Maybe it wasn't. I don't know. It's
Look, they were a protein sauce. They did with the sauce. They tasted quite nice.
yeah, lovely sauce. Really nice sort of sweet chili sauce.
Yeah.
More sweet than chili.
Yeah.
But you're not here for food recommendations, are you? Well, you know what?
Maybe we're not a car guy. It doesn't say we're not a food guy.
That is true, and I am definitely a food guy.
Yeah.
So there is that. Not much to say about the rest of the trip. We're sort of Gundagai is kind of the halfway mark. I know, not exactly. Don't bother me in the comments about it. But you know, we're over the hump.
Yep.
Metaphorically and literally, because actually I've been told by a lot of people that the rest of this journey is now mostly downhill.
Yep.
So that's good for efficiency and all that good stuff. Yes, we should get to Golburn in an hour and a half at some thing of percent.
Well, it says 26% now.
Yep. And then it's predicting that we should charge there for 25 minutes.
Yep.
And then get to our destination in sort of West Sydney with about 13%. We'll probably end up getting there with a bit more, because we'll probably end up being in Golburn for a little bit more.
Yep.
As is our want. And then we will, I suppose, we'll catch up again when we get to Golburn, but then we'll wrap up. We're thinking of going, there's a Japanese restaurant that my cousin always takes me to in Lane Cove, which is really nice, and there's a few free slow AC chargers down in the garage,
nice.
so
Okay.
we can have dinner and top the car up at the same time, which is
Lovely. And
nice.
not have to rush.
And not have to rush.
It's a glorious day. It
is
really is.
Absolutely beautiful day, stunning day.
Yes.
Temperature's gone down a bit, so it's down to 27 outside,
Yeah.
down from
But it's
29.
clear skies, some pretty clouds. It's actually like one of those days where it's just like, okay, this is a beautiful day to be out-ish.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm trying to be positive.
We're not in the house.
Not in the house.
We're not in the
It's not a
house.
bad day for driving because it's not raining. It's not like
Very true.
ridiculously windy, all those kind of things. And it puts me in a good mood.
Excellent.
Really.
We will see you in a bit. We are just about to take the turn off to Golburn. Now, again, this is one of those things where you can see that it's going to take us 6 minutes to get from the highway to the supercharging location. So, yeah, it would be nice if it was closer, but I've
Made your peace?
I've gone on about that enough, I think. So we don't need to hear any more about that.
Yeah.
But it does mean I need to fill 6 minutes of air.
You do.
Yeah.
Yes, it has gotten to that part of the journey.
Now, actually, I do know what's going on. So so the signs there say go to Golburn, but the map is telling us to go around. We're sort of taking the back routes, because I know this little back road's like 80 k's, so 80 kilometers an hour. So I think that's why it's suggesting we go this way, because it's just a quicker way to get to where we need to get to. So what have you thought so far?
It's a much nicer drive than driving to Adelaide.
Explain.
So Adelaide, you're going through all the little towns. And every time you go to, and I know this is, I mean, I'm saying this as we're driving up to a 60 zone, but every little town you go through with Adelaide, you drop to 80. And it's a lot of single lane highways. And so you've got to be concentrating a lot.
Yeah, whereas this drive, and I think I said that again, we'll link up to the thing. This is more just a get on the highway, go.
Yeah, and you can pull off into little towns, but you don't have to go through them all.
Yeah,
So it makes a big difference.
yeah.
And the road, like the Hume Highway, is in better nick than the road to Adelaide was.
Yes, that is very true.
So
And also because it's dual lane at least the
Yes.
whole way. You never get stuck behind someone because you've always got the option to overtake.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of like efficiency and all that kind of stuff, you can see down here that overall the journey's been 172 kilowatts hour per kilometer. I have no idea what that means.
Neither do I.
It's so frustrating because some cars do it one way, other cars do it the other way, and I just like, oh, it would be so nice to. I mean, look, fair enough. When we wanted consistency, we got VHS instead of beta, so. Yeah.
Are you still salty about that?
I am still salty about that.
Okay.
And we all know what industry we have to blame for it. This may not even make it into the bloopers.
No, I don't know. I feel this is also aging us both a lot.
You know what's aging me? Time.
What I was also going to say is that this has been an interesting one because it stayed pretty much consistent with 27%.
Yeah.
That's what we started out with.
Yeah.
It kind of fluctuated a little bit up and down. I think we got down to about 25-ish, maybe.
I'll take your word for it.
But it's hovered around 27 most of the time.
And we did have, again, the cameras weren't on, so you're going to have to take our word for it, but we did actually have one of those instances where the car, the battery was at 59%, and we were going down a really long downhill, and it bumped up to 60. And then dropped down to 59, it went up to 60, and then... So that was... And I think it did it twice, just to tease me. So I was like, oh, we should have recorded that. I should turn the camera on. No, I'm not going to turn the camera on. Oh, it happened again. I could have turned the camera on.
But yeah, you'll just have to trust us.
Yeah. Now, the Superchargers here in Golburn, quite a nice spot, right next to the visitor centre, which is nice. And I don't think it's I think it's been switched off, so it's not
Free conditioning
on anymore. Oh, yeah, some free conditioning. So it's not on anymore, but there used to be a slow AC charger on the wall on the other side of the visitor centre, which I think is a great idea just anywhere, so that if for some reason you get to a fast charger and the charger's down for some reason, at least let there be a slow charger, so at least you can plug in somewhere
and get something.
So you can get enough to get to your next charger.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that there aren't that many, like we haven't seen, except for Gundagai, we haven't really seen that many cars.
Yeah.
Like I remember last year when I drove up for this, there were tons of electric cars.
Because it's a random Thursday.
No, but it's before all things electric. Like last year on the way up to Sydney for the same show.
Yeah.
There were tons of people that I bumped into at charging stops and so on, and no one this time.
Interesting.
Can you plug in, please?
I certainly can.
Plug the car in.
Plug the car in.
Starting to charge.
Those cables really are short.
Yes.
Come on.
It's a watched kettle never. A watched kettle never boils. It's like
It's actually watch pot, but it's a what? Yeah.
that. It's like when you plug in and you're waiting for it to charge. You're like, whereas when you go out and you plug it in, you get in. It's charging already.
Yeah. 15 minutes.
15 minutes. Now, well, hang on. That's 15 minutes. Let's see. Normally this stays about the same. Let's see how fast we're going to get to. What I was going to say, just quickly, you'll see the visitors in here, really nice. And they've got, jams and little things you can pick up and nicknames. They have a bathroom, very important.
Thank you. And do they have somewhere to fill water bottles?
I think they do. One little caveat about this spot that's not great is if you get here and the visitor centre is closed, if you get here too early in the morning, the visitor centre is closed, so the bathroom's not working. There is a bathroom in the park across the road, so you can...
How early do you have to get here for them not to be
I think I got here when I was driving back from Sydney last time. This was when I went up for that thing.
Yeah.
I think I got here at like 7 o'clock in the morning, or 7:30.
What time did you leave?
I left at about 5:30.
Probably not. We're not leaving at 5:30 to come home, are we?
I don't think so.
Okay, good.
You don't have to, but what else are we going to do? We're driving the whole day.
That's true.
So, yeah, anyway, we might leave that early on the way back. We'll see.
Okay.
Anywho, we got 15 minutes, we think, and
Yep.
we will pick you up in a bit.
Yep.
This car is so weird.
It is.
It's... Yeah. So, we got in the car about 2 minutes ago, and it said 5 minutes remaining to continue trip.
Yep.
Cool, we'll wait 5 minutes before we unplug. Then it suddenly said, oh, no, 0 minutes remaining. In fact, estimated charge time 0. You have enough energy thing, but it's going 5 minutes to continue charge.
I'm confuzzled.
Yeah, don't know.
But it does say we're going to get to where we need to go with 24%.
So I reckon,
We ready to go, or do you want to wait a little bit longer?
I don't know.
I mean, it doesn't hurt either way. It just depends on what time we want to get there.
Yeah, and look, also we're charging really, really slow now. So I mean, we're only getting 71 kilowatts. You may as well unplug and let us be on our way.
Okay, I will point.
It's a very cool Model X next to us with a cool matte black wrap.
It is. If you were at the, where are we
Golburn.
again? Golburn Charger, and a very, very cool matte black Model X. It's very cool.
With the plushies in the front.
Yeah.
Right, final leg,
Yay!
yay! So yes, final leg. Now, interestingly, the distance isn't huge, but the time is because we're going to hit Sydney traffic.
Yep.
And we're going to get to where we're going at like 6 o'clock, which means we're going to get there pretty much
Peak hour.
peak hour traffic. So that's why I think, it normally takes a bit of time. Oh my goodness, speaking of peak traffic.
We have hit peak Golburn traffic.
Yeah.
I bought this lovely tall poppy gourmet honey mustard dressing, not sponsored. If you'd like to, happy to. While we were at the Golburn Visitor Centre, and I'm quite looking forward to that. Just spruiking some local wares.
And this is one of the cool things about having the. I would hope that this was one of the big reasons why a lot of regional centres have put in these charging locations, is that people who would normally just drive past don't.
Yeah.
And they stop and they explore, and I think that's really cool.
I think it is too.
As much as I was bitching and moaning about how I'd like the chargers not to be in the centres, I think from the centre's point of view, it's really good.
Yeah. And it's really good to support local and support regional, and you've got these small little, manufacturers and artisans and everything, and it's nice to find new people and new places.
Cool. So, look, we've gained 1% somehow.
Amazing.
So, the prediction is we will get to Olympic Park area-ish in Sydney by 6:14.
The originator said 6:04, so we've already lost 10 minutes. But anyway, it's all an estimate. Sydney traffic.
Yeah, could be better, could be worse. Actually, will be interesting to see how accurate or not accurate that may be.
We're now down to 21%.
Oh, for heaven's sake!
4%.
How did we lose 4%? For heaven's sakes! But we're going to get there a minute sooner. So, it's interesting. I remember after one of my first road trip videos, one of my friends in New Zealand, Dean. Hey, Dean, hope you're watching. Came back to me. He's very much motivated. Like, he owns a racing car. Like, that's he trailers it out to on the weekends and vrooms. And he said the whole electric car road tripping, it looked like quite a bit of a faff. And you know what? Look, it's not as straightforward as a petrol station every 5 kilometers.
Yep.
The thing is, there aren't petrol stations every 5 kilometers.
No,
anyway.
but they're a lot more. They're more frequent, right? And you can also. People don't tend to go, "Ooh, we're at half a tank, I better fill up." You're a lot more comfortable with getting down to almost close to empty or on empty, and then go, "Oh yeah, better fill up." Whereas there's a mentality where with electric, that you can't get down to low numbers. So it's always you're going to make sure you charge, and then when there aren't as many charging stations, then you really do need to go, okay, well, okay, so if I want to do a fast charge here, I don't really need it, but I'm not going to make it to the next one. Or am I going to make it to the next one?
But having said all of that, I mean, there were two supercharging stations that we didn't even know existed.
Yep.
Before we did the strip.
This is true.
So I think it's not as straightforward.
No, but it's
completely doable. And also, look, or definitely me, you know, I'm nerding out about this stuff a lot more than you need to. Everyday people who aren't making videos could just get in the car, say, hey car, navigate to wherever.
And just go with it.
And the car will just work it out for you and you don't even have to think about it.
Yep.
So there's a little bit more involved, but it's really not that much. And
really
that's just on long road trips. Most everyday usage, which is not long road trips.
It's so simple.
I will leave that to my lovely assistant to tell you how simple it is.
But it's so simple because you don't, you know, yes, you can get a wall charger and you can, like we've got the wall charger, we've got the solar, etc., etc. But you can just plug into the wall. And you can do a granny charge, plug in overnight, slow charge, it's like filling your car up overnight. There's no stress. You don't have to have a full tank every day.
And you actually never have to think about, we've got to go fill up the car whenever, because
you don't.
You plug in when you get home and you wake up with a full tank every morning.
And if you really do, if you kind of get to the point of going, I'd like to plug in, there are, you know, a lot of councils have free chargers. We do it every so often just because, but you don't have to. You can just plug in with a plug.
Yep.
And it's easy. I was talking to a friend of mine, a friend of ours the other day, who was saying, you know what, she's at the point now where her car needs, she needs to look at a new car, and she's thinking, she's never ever thought that she would think electric, and so it makes sense now. I'm like, yeah, it's easy.
Yeah. So long road trips, there's a little bit more involved, but it's getting better and better all the time, and it's pretty darn easy already.
Yep.
And everyday driving, it's an absolute no-brainer.
Do you know what I noticed over the latest school holidays? So we've had obviously the summer holidays here in Australia, December, January. It varies state to state when they start, when they finish, but it's generally December, January, and kind of end of December, beginning of January. Last year, there were all these articles and news stories about all the long waits at charging stations and the chaos of, oh my God, you'll have to wait for hours, it will be a disaster. Didn't have any of those this year.
Now, I did see a couple of things online about there was a bit more waiting because more people are traveling. I think a lot of people learnt from the year before and they sort of staggered their travel. So some people may have left a little bit earlier, some people may have left a little bit later. Something that I've read about at a couple of the not all of them, but a couple of the busier charging stations between, you know, major cities, Tesla had actually hired people to organize not queues, but to sort of do traffic control and go, okay, you're next. Well, I suppose that is queuing. But yeah, so we're
learning.
We're learning, we're getting better, things are constantly improving, they're fine already and they're only getting better.
Exactly.
I think that's it.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's our rant for the day.
No. There will be more. Okay, so we have been on the road. It's gone. I've got to flick that back on. Anyway, no, actually I do know because we left at 7, so
we did.
Or 10 past 7,
yes,
give or take. So yes, 2 hours and 1 minute to go, and apparently we will be at 23% when we get there. We will see how accurate or not accurate.
Okay, 22% now. Are we going to take bets on what it's going to end up as?
I'm comfortable with 20 to 22%.
Okay, I will be an outlier, and I am going to say 18 to 20%.
Okay. You notice how much more narrow. Well, fair enough. Well, no. Look, think about it. This morning we were talking about it. We left with 100%, and it was. See, this is where it's going to throw it off, because actually, you know what? No, I'm going to take that back. I'm going to say we're going to get there with 30%. Between 25 and 30%. Here's my logic. Here's my logic.
Okay.
Because this is
okay.
This is kind of because when we're doing lots of highway driving, the car assumes you're doing highway driving. Again, I'm guessing all of this. I don't know. So the car's guessing that we're doing highway driving, and therefore it thinks we're going to be less efficient. But within an hour, or give or take an hour or so, we're going to hit Sydney traffic.
It's true.
Where our efficiency is going to get a lot better. So I actually reckon that's going to get a lot better, and we're going to get there with 25 to 30%.
All right, I'll go 20 to 25 then.
Okay. We'll see you in a bit.
Okay.
Welcome to Sydney, where the left-hand lane is for out-of-towners and the weak. I love you, Sydney, but your traffic, woo, it's, yeah, it's...
Special.
Welcome to the Thunderdome. Well, we are 4 minutes away from our final destination, where we will be staying for the weekend, which is lovely. Maddie, how's the trip been?
It's been good.
Yeah?
It's been good. Pretty smooth. I have to say that in the games of guessing the final percentage, we have a winner. I should know not to bet against you when it comes to battery percentage of the car.
It's more luck than skill, I assure you.
So we are currently on 29%.
And we should get there with 29%.
Should get there with 29%. It did drop at one point, which gave me hope, but then it just kept going up and up and up. At one point, we thought perhaps it would even be even higher than 30%.
Yeah.
But we have hit 29%. And I'm very glad that you're driving through Sydney and I'm not.
Mm-hmm. Just gonna let this guy go so I can get into the lane, because no one lets you in here. You have to
push your way through.
Push your way in.
How have you found the drive?
Yeah, it's all right. Look, I always, whenever I do this drive, sort of once you sort of get to Gundagai, you're like, are we there yet? And you're only sort of like, it's not halfway, but it's kind of halfway. And then you Golburn, you're like, oh, cool. And there's another 2 hours.
Yeah.
So it's a long drive.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's all right. I'm feeling all right. Again, Autopilot is really convenient. You know, the lane keep assistant and all that jazz. Oh, and after getting into this lane, I'm in the wrong lane. Yeah, it's...
Sorry, I just have to laugh at a place. They're pointing signs to Woolarra.
Woolarra?
No, it's spelled WOO-L. Like, it just... When I read it out, I was like, Woolarra.
Well, maybe, I mean, we're in like this is like the Olympic Park and everything. Maybe they were trying to make the pronunciation easier for
I know.
tourists.
No, but it was a parking, so maybe it was a thing.
Oh, maybe it's the name of the play. Okay.
Sorry, it just made me laugh.
It's a play on the thing. Cool.
Yeah.
Efficiency overall, so I mean, we're almost there. We're a kilometre away. So we will have done 889 kilometres at 145 kilowatt hours. That's how much petrol, that's how much electricity we've used. No, that can't be right. Oh, maybe that is right.
Yeah.
So that's only like, so this is a 60 kilowatt car. So that's effectively like 2 and a bit full batteries worth of energy. Interesting. And our efficiency has gotten better.
Yes.
Obviously, once we got into traffic in Sydney and all that jazz. And so the Sydney section has been 134 and overall we're 164. Yeah. No idea what that means.
I think low numbers equal good in this situation.
Yes, in that case, good?
Good us.
Yes. So yeah, that was Melbourne to Sydney using a slightly different route. I wish I was a bit braver and we'd skip Holbrook and gone straight to Gundagai. But what are you going to, you know?
Maybe we'll do it to be brave on the way home.
Maybe we'll do it and be brave on the way home. Anywho, I hope this video was helpful. I hope it was mildly entertaining. If you have enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share to as many of your friends and even your enemies. Share to everyone.
Yeah. Comment away. Bring up engagement.
Yes. So thank you very much. I hope this has been useful. I hope you've enjoyed it. We will catch you on the next one. Safe and happy driving.
Okay. Oh, wrong one.
Yeah.
Sorry. No, right one.
Have I done this?
I'm confused. Done.
And we're plugged in. 4 minutes.
I got it in the wrong angle. Anyway. Got confused.
All right, the charger.
Yeah. Shut up.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to brighten up the face, definitely. Okay. Right, we are on our way. Now, we actually left about an hour ago. What is it with rubberneckers? Like, someone, it's not even an accident, someone's just... And if you think, I've always been a grumpy old man, even in my 20s. Anywho, where was I? No, let's try that again. Take 5. I've never, you know what, let's start all over again because that screen is filthy. And we can turn that off, we don't need that. Okay, take 2, or 13 or whatever, but now we've got a better idea of what we're doing and how we're doing it. And we're back on the road. Back on the road? No, you never left. You were always on the road. Okay. See, I don't know how to connect this.
We're on the road.
We're on the road.
On the way.
Yes.
But hang on, it still says 5 minutes.
Oh,
But it says enough in.
ah!
Sorry.
No, not you.
Oh.
So.
And I've gotten myself tangled on. I'm in tiny tangles. I'm stuck. Hang on. Yeah. Okay.
You good?
I'm good.
Get that so it doesn't fall down.
Thank you. Ow. Oh, so stiff. So stiff.
Blown out. Okay, we're plugged in.
Hang on. Now we're plugged in.
Now we're plugged in. Ready to charge. I did push record on that. God, I hope I pushed record on that.